We're following that, also following this political storm and the future of one Gary Cohn, the National Economic Advisor, who apparently drafted a resignation letter in the wake of Charlottesville to the President of the United States, the President declining that resignation letter. He tells the Financial Times, and I quote here, "This administration can and must do better in consistently and unequivocally condemning these groups and do everything we can to heal the deep divisions that exist in our communities." That kind of echoes what I heard from Gianno Caldwell, a GOP consultant, on what the President needs to do to put this behind him. Gianno, always good to see you.
Good to see you, big brother Neil.
I'm wondering, too, I mean, you know, your last appearance, there was a lot of controversy because a lot of people who like you are just saying, oh, he's dumping on the President. He was much more complimentary of Mike Pence and not the President. He's left the President over this Charlottesville thing. That's not what a Republican consultant does. You say what?
I say that I certainly haven't left the President, but I think it's important for Republicans and everyone else to hold the people in office accountable. President Trump must be held to account. He's become very distracted with his wars with many factions, whether it be the media or anyone else, and it's become very difficult for us to be able to get some of these things done. I've been in a fight with the President since the primary in the sense that I've been supporting him where I believed appropriate, defending him where I believed appropriate.
What did he do?
Now that he's in office, he must...
What did he do that really bugged you? Equating the two protesting groups, and that is what stuck in your craw, right?
Yeah, so this is the problem. And I know people have been saying, hey, President Trump has condemned the groups, you know, both, you know, all sides or whatever the case is. And then he said, hey, it was good people on all sides. What people don't really understand is neo-Nazis and the KKK isn't just a hate group. It's an institution. It's an institution buried deep within the fabric of our country. A lot of these individuals from these groups have created policies, whether they, because some of these folks were police officers, some of them were attorneys, some of them were elected officials. They created policies to marginalize communities of colors, Jewish people, and whatever else have you. So when we look at the historic perspective of these many institutions, as I call them, right, I think it's very problematic that the President would say that anyone would be palling around, anyone that's good and decent would pal around with these kinds of groups.
But has it gotten crazy now, John? I mean, and I had a different perspective as just a white male versus you as an African-American male, and growing up for a while in the South, being exposed to these Confederate statues that seem to be everywhere. Do you agree with those who say just take them down?
So I'm more in favor of what Mike Pence said, Vice President Pence. I thought he had the right tone tenor. I thought that he was excellent in even having the conversation. I think that it's up to the local public to petition their government and say, hey, we want these statues. You personally hate them and find them objectionable? I think that they can be used as a weapon of hate, certainly. I don't have a problem with them just being there and present. I think that it makes more sense for them to be in museums. I just don't understand why we have so many of these Confederate statues around when they didn't win the war. So in essence, it's a participation trophy. But do you find it weird then that it's extended to anything showing George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or anyone who might be attached to slaves or owning slaves, whatever? Well, George Washington wasn't known for that. That's not where he's really, yeah, sure, certainly a lot of these founders, they did own slaves, 100%, but that's not what they're known for. They're known for being the founders of our country. The Confederacy is known for white supremacy and the preservation of slavery. So that to me is a tool that's a celebratory tool. But they're not distinguishing, Gianno. They were showing Mount Rushmore. There was one woman on there said, blow Mount Rushmore up. There was Al Sharpton, I believe, said at the Jefferson Memorial, quit funding it. I mean, are we in crazy town now? Well, and the person the woman you're referring to is Angela Rye. I disagree with her. I don't think that we should be blowing up Mount Rushmore or anything like that. I think that there has the potential, the propensity to go too far on this issue, and I think we've obviously gone too far on this issue. I think that we should erect statues of people like Nat Turner, who led the slave rebellion, and many others that added to some of the positive progress in which our country has made. At the end of the day, slavery is something that's a stain on America's conscience, but we've also made great progress. Look at me. I'm right here in front of you right now. So this is is a beautiful thing. There's so much more progress to go. We still have to topple institutional racism in many different institutions, but we've come a very long way, and I want to look at that progress as well as understand and acknowledge what has happened in the past, and I think that's necessary for us to unite and heal all together.
Real quickly, I know your concerns with the president's comments in the beginning are genuine, but do you feel that a lot of people who've made a very big issue of this are more interested in disrupting his agenda than making any racial comments?
Yeah, certainly that's going to be the case. The left is always going to take it and run with it. I think a lot of folks have taken some of the comments that President Trump has made, which were rather insensitive and particularly dumb in my view, and that's no disrespect to anyone else. But they tried to apply that to the entire Republican Party when Republicans from everywhere, including Gary Cohn, who has come out and said that it was wrong and he shouldn't have said that and we got to do better. So, you know, there's obviously these folks with this fake outrage when there's folks obviously in the Democratic Party that have said very harsh things towards people of color and anyone else, and you don't see them coming out hard against them. So if we're going to talk about these issues, we have to have a balance, and we must be true to ourselves. And a lot of folks on the left aren't really having a balance. They're just taking a moment to push the president down the stairs even more.
All right, Gianno, good catching up with you. Thank you very, very much.